Hello everyone. Today I am going to discuss about the modes of heat transfer. Modes of heat transfer means here how the heat transfer is taking place. That we have to know. That is called as a modes of heat transfer. There are three modes of heat transfer. Those are conduction, convection and radiation heat transfer. Before that, the first we will take that is what is meant by heat and how the transfer of heat is taking place, and later we will take that is what are the three modes of heat transfer are there, their definitions. Continue to this, first one we will take that is heat is a form of energy. There are mainly two forms of energy, one is the heat and then one is the work. That's why the heat is the form of energy which can transfer from higher temperature body to or a space to a lower temperature body or a space. Here the heat can transfer from higher temperature body or a space whatever is there to a lower temperature body or a space. Here the temperature difference is the driving force for the heat transfer. That's why there should be a temperature difference in order to achieve the heat transfer. The heat transfer is denoted by the Q, capital Q, and its unit is joule per second or watt. The heat transfer takes place in three modes of heat transfer like conduction, convection, radiation. These three modes of heat transfer will discuss how the heat transfer is taking place in these three modes. First one is conduction. Conduction is a mode of heat transfer in which heat transfer takes place from high temperature region to a low temperature region by direct impact of molecules or molecular vibration. And in case of metals, by drift of free electrons, heat transfer takes place in conduction mode. The heat transfer through solid medium is called as the conduction heat transfer. Here, where the molecules are having direct contact with each other and vibration of one molecule or a direct impact of one molecule will be influenced by the other molecule. That is by the contact only the heat transfer is taking place, and that is possible in case of the solid medium. In the solid medium where the heat transfer takes place, that is the conduction mode of heat transfer. The best example here we can see this one. Here the heat is of the flame of the candle. Here one needle if you hold at one end, and if other end if you hold in our hand and one end is exposed to that flame, then after a certain time period the heat is transferring through this needle and that is reaching to our hand. We will feel hot this needle, and how the heat is transferred through this needle, that is by the conduction mode heat transfer is taken place. That is by the molecules which comes direct contact with each other, that is due to the direct impact of molecules or molecular vibration. The molecules when get heated, those will vibrate, and thereby whatever the heat transfer is there, that is taking place. Example of this conduction mode of heat transfer is that heat transfer through solids such as in metal rod from one end to the other end, what we have discussed, that is, and heat transfer through wall, whatever the wall we can see, the wall of the room or wall of the furnace, okay, where the heat transfer is taking place, that is by the conduction mode. Next one we will take, that is a convection. Convection is the mode of heat transfer in which heat transfer takes place from higher temperature region to the lower temperature region by kinetic motion or molecular motion. The fluid medium is required for convection. In this case, there should be a movement. There should be a movement. In the previous case, there is no movement. The molecules are there in their space only, their place only, and those will come contact with others one, they will transfer the heat. But here the molecules move to carry the heat. That is called as a kinetic motion or a molecular motion. The fluid medium whatever is there, that is required for the convection mode of heat transfer. Here we can see that one. The best example of this convection mode of the heat transfer is the heating of the water. At the bottom we are going to heat the water. Then heat is transferring through the bottom wall of that pan to the inside water. Only the layer of this water will get heated initially. Then due to the surface water whatever is there, that will not be get heated, its temperature is lower, and there is a temperature difference between these two. Due to that temperature difference, there is a density difference between the fluid of the at the bottom and at the top. There is a density difference. Density decreases if the temperature increases. That's why there is a density difference. Due to that density difference, the hot fluid will move to the upper region and upper region cold fluid will move to the bottom there. And this whatever the movement is there, that is called as a buoyancy effect, and that is a convection current. And by this way the heat transfer takes place in the convection mode of the heat transfer. Examples what we are going to take here: heat transfer within the fluid medium. This is the fluid medium. The heat transfer from the solid surface to the fluid, or a fluid to the solid surface. Here, even though from the solid surface, or example if you take from the table whatever is there, from the table surface to the surrounding air, or from the surrounding air to the table surface, whatever the heat is transferring, that also we will consider as the convection heat transfer. And water heating, the example what we have taken, that is the convection mode of heat transfer. Here the fluid medium is required to transfer the heat. Third one we will take, that is radiation. Radiation is the mode of heat transfer in which heat transfer takes place by electromagnetic wave phenomenon or photons. There is a electromagnetic wave phenomenon, means electromagnetic waves are there. Through those waves the heat transfer is taking place. And in this case, unlike conduction and convection, the heat transfer the transfer of heat by radiation does not require any medium. Here the waves, whatever electromagnetic waves are there, those will travel in the vacuum also. That's why there is no medium is required. In the conduction, solid medium is required, convection, liquid medium is required, fluid medium is required, but in this radiation there is no medium is required. The best example what we can take here, the radiation heat transfer, is the heat transfer from sun to earth. That we know that there is up to the certain distance only, certain up to height only, we have the atmosphere, earth atmosphere. Behind that there is no air, nothing. There is a vacuum only. Even though we are receiving the heat from the sun to earth, we feel the hot when we stand outside. That is the heat transfer. That is by the electromagnetic waves which are coming from the sun. That is one of the best example of this radiation heat transfer through the waves that will be taking place. Okay, the two scientists, one scientist told that one electromagnetic waves through that one heat is transferring. One scientist told that photons, there is the packets of energy, heat energy, those are transferring from sun to earth. Okay, even though whatever it may be, that is the electromagnetic wave phenomenon we'll consider. Example for this radiation heat transfer is that heat transfer from sun to earth, heat transfer from thermos flask, that is a thermos flask is there is a two walls, and in between those two walls there is a vacuum now to avoid the heat loss. Even though through that one heat is, it is transferring, then that is by the radiation mode of heat transfer. Then the micro oven what will use, there through by the radiation only heat is transferring from the walls of that micro oven to the inside fluid. That is the radiation mode of heat transfer. With this I conclude that is whatever these three modes of heat transfer are there. Thank you.